170 hostages have been freed from a Mali hotel. Police say a third body has been found from a raid that killed the alleged ringleader in the Paris terrorist attacks.
So I have to be safe.
A solidarity march takes place in Toronto following this week's violent attack against a Muslim woman. Hi, and welcome to Humber News. I'm Rebecca Ploza-Malara, coming to you from our newsroom here at Humber College North Campus. The siege at a luxury hotel in Mali is over. All 170 hostages have been freed, but at least 3 people were killed in the attack. 10 gunmen attacked at the Radisson Blu Hotel early this morning, armed with guns and grenades. Security force stormed the hotel full of foreigners. There is an unconfirmed report that as many as 27 people are dead. According to media reports, at least 1 Canadian had been held captive. An African jihadist group affiliated with Al-Qaeda has claimed responsibility for the attack. Mali is a former French colony, and it's been battling with Al-Qaeda for years. It's been 1 week since the Paris attack, and prosecutors say a third body has been found in the rubble of Saint-Denis raid. Officials say the body is a woman's, but her identity is not yet known. The body was uncovered while forensic teams searched for the apartment where remains of Abdel Ahmed Abaoud and his cousin were found on Wednesday. Security has been beefed up throughout the French capital, with police and military patrolling streets and conducting raids. The French Senate today voted to extend the 3-month national security emergency. Meanwhile, in France and Belgium are urging the European Union to tighten border security following the Paris attacks. EU Interior and Justice ministers are meeting about new security measures at external borders. There will be a closer watch on border checks, gun control, and surveillance. The EU will also use the program called European Passenger Name Record, allowing countries to share travelers' information. Elsewhere in Europe, the search for terrorists continued to spread across the continent into Sweden. Police arrested a man from a balcony on Thursday suspected of preparing a terror attack. Local media say the man is a member of the militant group ISIS and a part of a larger group inside the Swedish borders. Swedish police say they're keeping anyone who could carry out attacks in custody. Details of Canada's plan to resettle 25,000 refugees are emerging. The cost of the program is said to be more than $1 billion over 6 years. The Canadian press has obtained leaked documents of the government's refugee plan. They show that more than $500,000 will be going to ad campaigns encouraging public support. The plan reveals the majority of refugees will come from Lebanon, Jordan, and Turkey. Meanwhile, in Quebec, an anti-refugee petition has already gathered 75,000 signatures since last Friday's terror attack in Paris. There has been some concern among some provincial and municipal leaders about how quickly the refugees will be brought to Canada. Some people are said to be afraid of the possible conversation of Muslims as seen in other countries like France.
That we don't marginalize a particular community, because terrorism is not a phenomenon that is particular to a religion or to a community.
6,000 refugees are expected to be brought into Quebec. Here at home, a show of support this morning for the Muslim woman who was assaulted earlier this week. A solidarity march was held in Flemington Park area of the city where the attack took place. Police say the assault involved 2 men who attacked the mother as she was picking up her son from school and pulled off her hijab. Marchers condemn the act of racism.
As human beings, we need to understand that it is 2015. So you can't blame people just because they follow a certain religion for the acts and violence committed by another group of people that assume they follow the same religion.
Another rally against Islamophobia is being planned for tomorrow in Toronto. Here at Humber, campaigns are in place to protect against further violence and Islamophobia. Katie Peterson has a story.
Recent terrorist attacks have inspired violent acts against Muslims across the GTA. Here at Humber, the Muslim Student Association is taking action to help students feel safer on campus.
Actually, one of our volunteers was attacked on her way to school in the subway. So that kind of sparked, our need to kind of take a more strong stance on it. We did make a post regarding our buddy system that we've set up, so people can email us in if they feel uncomfortable traveling through buses or through public transportation, so that they can have somebody go with them.
The buddy system extends beyond campus. Torontonians across the GTA have been participating in a hashtag campaign to help Muslims feel safer on the TTC. People are using the hashtag I'll ride with you, offering to accompany those who don't feel comfortable riding alone. Residents are offering general help or assistance on specific routes.
When these attacks happen, it's easy for us to fall into the same trap that we advocate against, which is generalizing in an entire community. So you feel safe around anybody who doesn't look like you. But I think initiatives like the hashtag I'll ride with you kind of shows that, although these isolated incidences are occurring, and they're almost occurring on a daily basis now, it's not symbolic of the entire community.
Muslim students that are concerned about their safety are encouraged to contact the MSA on Facebook or at ghumbermsa@gmail.com. Katie Peterson, Humber News.
Overseas, the civil war in Yemen took another deadly turn today. Reports say 30 people were killed by al-Qaeda forces on a military post in the east of the country. Reports say that the attack began when a suicide bomber blew up an explosive in his car. 15 of the people who died Yemen soldiers. Since the conflict began early this year, more than 2,000 civilians have been killed. U.S. President Barack Obama is in Malaysia for the latest meeting of the world leaders. Obama is one of the 10 out of the Southeast Asian nations for the summit starting tomorrow. It usually covers economic issues, but has been overshadowed by efforts to combat the Islamic State. Security has been unusually tight in Malaysia after an unconfirmed terror threat was reported by police. The Chinese military is the first foreign customer for Russia's Su-35 fighter jets after signing a $2 billion contract. This is one of the biggest contracts for military jets ever signed between two countries. China says it will buy 24 of the planes at a cost of $85 million apiece. The Su-35 is capable of flying a speed of 2,500 kilometers per hour. China and Russia have been in negotiations for several years over the purchase of the jets. Here at Humber today is Transgender Day of Remembrance, commemorating victims of transphobia. Humber celebrating it in its own way, and our reporter Christina Romaldo is there. Christina, what's happening?
Thanks, Rebecca. Well, as you mentioned, today marks the 16th annual Transgender Day of Remembrance. Humber commemorated the day with a showing of Pay It No Mind, which highlights the life and work of trans activist Marsha P. Johnson. Earlier today, I spoke to Natalie Elisha, Humber's LGBTQ+ resource coordinator. Marsha P. Johnson's story is so important.
I think Marsha P. Johnson's story is so important at this time, especially with things like the Stonewall movie coming out, which got a little bit more mainstream attention and success, but also in effect really just erased her legacy. So I think highlighting her life in this documentary is really important to remind people that trans women of color and trans activists look very different than what we typically see. So I think highlighting her today was important. Yeah.
So aside from the movie, what other events are going on today to celebrate this day?
Yeah, well, there are other community events happening. The 519 Community Center is hosting an event tonight at 7 p.m. To hold like a memorial and protest and just it's a time to reconnect with the community and be there for each other, which is also what this day is about.
Today is about remembering those who lost their lives due to transphobia, but it's also about raising awareness about the violence that members of the trans community face. Christina Romaldo, Humber News. Now back to you in the newsroom, Rebecca.
Thanks, Christina. Those pre-Christmas sales are coming to stores in Toronto a little bit early this year. But the big question is, are you shoppers willing to pay the price? Our reporter Dondre Stewart has more.
Pre-Black Friday sales have started today in Toronto. Several stores are beginning their promotions and people are aware of the deals.
Actually, I was kind of shopping around the mall. I mean, they're pretty good. Black Friday is probably going to be better still.
Not gonna lie, they definitely make me consider going to the mall, but you know, you got in this position that I am right now, I do have to be careful with my money, but you know, they are making it very difficult.
Plans on spending the day for the big shopping event vary among people.
So I'm probably going to be working since I work at retail, so you know, that is going to be pretty scary actually, yeah.
Sleeping, this is an American tradition, we're Canadians, it's just any other Friday for me.
Nothing. I don't really participate in Black Friday.
Black Friday is perfect for early Christmas shopping and fulfilling holiday wish lists.
This is probably not for the holidays, but I definitely want like a new leather jacket. Like that's probably on my mind. You know, some kicks, yeah.
Well, I'd say a PlayStation, but you know, I'm in university right now and these people are taking all the money they can, so I'm gonna save up to give them as much as I can.
I'm pretty okay with what I have right now. I'm not looking towards anything. I'll be like grateful for whatever I get.
The spice sale is coming a week early. Some people have better things on their mind. But we all know, come November 27th, malls across Canada will be packed. Dondre Stewart, Humber News.
When we come back, we'll tell you what's happening in the world of sports, and Morgan Gallagher will have your 3-day forecast.
The AL MVP, for once, won't be bringing the rain to Torontonians. It's all sun right now with periods of cloud coverage rolling in later this afternoon. I'll have your full 3-day forecast coming up after the break.
Now we leave you with this. They say elephants never forget, but you won't be forgetting this video anytime soon. A parade consisting of 250 elephants in the Thai province of Suren entered the record book as the largest elephant parade in Asia. Suren is becoming a popular tourist destination for people who like to see the gentle giants in person. The elephants were served 67 tons of fruit.